like, it does kind of sound like it'd be a great like thing to put on while I'm doing laundry.
And it won't keep you awake. You can go to sleep and finish it tomorrow.
Oh, weird benefit to the movie. I'm putting it on my list.
Such a bad choice. You should have done that.
Hello and welcome to May the Review Be With You with Nick and Joe. I'm Joe.
I'm Nick.
And today is episode 3 of a game we like to play, Put It On Your List. It's a game in which I think many of us are familiar with, in which you're talking to someone at a bar, and this person insists that you have to watch this show and or movie, and they're trying to convince you why. Sometimes it's hell, sometimes it's a gem. We will be experiencing one of those two things today. I'm not sure which one, but
Hell.
We'll see how it goes. Nick, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm definitely pitching you one that you're going to feel like you're in hell, for sure. This is no doubt. We'll get there, but you're going to be wishing that I would walk away.
Excellent.
I cannot walk away.
I think I'm more excited for that than the last two times, because like the last two times you've actually pitched me things that I like automatically. I was like, well, yeah, of course I would add that to my list. Like it took barely any convincing.
Yeah. I
want to see you struggle today.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a struggle, but it's definitely hell. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool. In case you missed our last episode, Nick and I pitched to each other. I pitched an animated show, which that was hell for Nick. Over the Garden Wall, the perfect season show for Halloween time. And Kate and Leopold, a romantic time travel comedy. That was a Nick pitch to me, which again, very easy pitch. So we'll see how it goes today. So we will get into that game. We'll explain the rules of that game in a little bit. But first, we have some entertainment news to catch up on. So, Nick, it's almost like we planned this. We've been playing Put It On Your List now for, I think, let's see, this is our third episode, and we've been doing it every 2 weeks. So this is our 6th week, right? Third episode, 6th week. And every time we play this game, there is news on James Gunn's Green Lantern show.
Yes.
It's weird how it keeps timing this way. Not doing it on purpose. So last time we were talking about lanterns, the news was that Kyle Chandler, the guy from Friday Night Lights, will be playing the role of Hal Jordan, one of the most well-known Green Lanterns. And at the time, we found out that there was also a casting call going on for John Stewart, another very well-known Green Lantern. And we knew it was down to 2 actors. Today, we know who's going to play John Stewart. It's gonna be Aaron Pierre, who has been famous from old. He's been famous more recently from Rebel Ridge. More on that later. And I am actually extremely excited about this. John Stewart is very by the book, like kind of cop character. And Aaron Pierre feels like he would capture that really perfectly. I don't know. The more I hear about this show, the more I'm into it. Nick, I feel like you don't care about this show whatsoever.
I don't. Listen, I love James Gunn, and we're just going to have to see. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm intrigued. I have zero expectations, so hopefully it'll be decent. And honestly, I'm sure it's going to be good, because James Gunn seems to have a really good plan. But until we see what he's really got going, we can't know for sure. And it really comes down to if they're going to really let him kind of take the reins and do what he thinks should be done, right? If there's control issues and disagreements and James Gunn doesn't have final control, there's just going to be continued problems in the DC universe that we've always had. So I'll default to my glorious MCU, who doesn't always make the best choices, but overall, pretty solid. So,
Glorious purpose.
Glorious purpose.
I appreciate the fact that you are approaching it cautiously. I'm probably hyping myself up way too much for it, and I will let myself down just like I did with The Flash. We will see how that goes. I will say just the idea of a True Detective-esque show surrounding Green Lanterns being written by one of the Lost writers, this seems to have a lot of stuff that I just vibe with. So hopefully they don't screw it up.
What, we some kind of Suicide Squad.
There is a movie that sounded great on paper that apparently did get fumbled and screwed up. We'll get to that in more entertainment news. But first, if you like what you're listening to, please hit subscribe, hit that bell, give us a thumbs up. It helps us so much, and we want to stay in your YouTube feed, so hit that subscribe. But on to more movie news. So a lot of different movies going on in the box office right now that people are super into. We're just going to hit these really quick. Terrifier 3, not a series I am familiar with, but all of a sudden in my movie feed, everyone's talking about like this horror clown. I truly don't know a lot about Terrifier 3, but the audience score on this is like 90%, and people love this. I swear to God, I think I've heard someone tell me about Terrifier maybe like one time, and it was like a cult classic, just, a clown psycho killer movie. And now Terrifier 3 is just like popping off. To the extent where I think I'm probably gonna watch it now. I'm adding it to my list. But I'm an easy horror guy. Like I love horror. It's my jam. Nick, I feel like is that true for you or no?
No, it's the opposite. For me. Never heard of Terrifier at all. Will not watch it. Definitely not on any list of mine. I'll default to you for that one. You can do that review by yourself, sir.
You know what? I might.
Or you can just find us on Threads. Joe will be talking about it there.
Not a bad idea. Although reviewing a horror movie by yourself sounds about as appealing as watching a horror movie by yourself. So we'll see if I can convince anyone to go with me or anyone to review that with me.
Ooh, guest appearance for a review. Interesting.
We'll see if we can give that a shot. Give that a Hail Mary.
That'd be cool.
The Apprentice is also in, as you can imagine. That's drawing in a lot of different criticism and opinion. I saw that the audience score for that was actually surprisingly high. Interested in what's going on there. And the last movie that I'm interested in, Nick, Woman of the Hour. It's in the 1970s Los Angeles, a wave of murderous headlines is going about, and a young woman aspiring to become an actress and a serial killer cross paths during an episode of a dating show. It stars Anna Kendrick. I'm super interested in the premise of this movie. It's getting some glowing reviews. It seems like a really fun, like, not a Halloween-esque, but like if you want something like maybe like a little creepier, like on,
right.
Like, it sounds like this could be a good time.
Like a solid thriller.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like very interesting.
Plus, this podcast loves Anna Kendrick. Giving that a thumbs up.
Agreed.
Cool. I'm glad I didn't have to hijack the podcast to insert an opinion there. I'm glad we're united.
No, we're united. United front on Anna Kendrick.
Akavita saying bitches. Oh, what is happening?
The last bit of movie news here, and I think we could spend a little bit more time, despite the fact that I don't think either of us have seen this movie.
Nope.
Is Joker 2. Now, I just went over 3 different films that are getting some pretty glowing reviews. Joker 2 does not make that list. And talk about a concept that is just fumbled in the end. So it's Todd Phillips once again directing the helm of this movie, and we're back in this universe in which Arthur Fleck has accidentally stirred a movement in Gotham of a class uprising, and it's got Lady Gaga in it, and it's supposed to be musical, and that sounded super fun to me. Just the idea of like a superhero musical. It was like, you know what, that's weird. That's so weird. That could be great. And it wasn't, apparently. Apparently it's awful. And it's my worst criticism for a movie is what I keep hearing about it. It's boring. I don't know how you have a movie about the Joker with Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn and a musical, and somehow you describe it as boring.
Well, I like musicals typically, but I'm kind of not shocked. You're gonna make a movie about the Joker a musical? That sounds like just a train wreck waiting to happen.
Wow, so you went completely the opposite way with this concept.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was a musical until like
They
it was
barely
closer to coming out.
advertised it
They
like
didn't
that.
advertise like yeah. So like when
Yeah.
it came out, it's like oh, it's a musical. I'm like oh my god, I'm gonna have to wait till this like is not in theaters because it does not sound like something I'm gonna want to waste my time on. And certainly so far that's the case. Tragedy really because the first one was so damn good that they've just gone ahead and been like oh yeah the first one was so good we got awards. Let's do a musical next. Fuck. Why? Why?
I mean, like on paper, like I think it's cool that they went in a daring direction, but yeah, apparently,
Yeah.
like the movie's just a nothing burger.
Listen.
The whole movie takes place in, from what I understand, in two different settings, which honestly, like that on paper doesn't necessarily sound bad, but apparently they just don't do anything with it. They don't do anything with Arthur's character, and I guess they kind of have him fall back to like almost the beginning of the first Joker movie before he really starts embracing like the Joker persona. And they just kind of have him like fumble through like this crime wave that he's inspired. Which
DC's gonna
like,
DC. DC's just gonna DC, man.
Suicide Squad.
on to the game at hand.
Yes.
The reason why we're here today, Nick and I are gonna try to put it on our lists. So, name of the game. We're gonna take turns here, going back and forth, in which we will state whatever it is that we are trying to pitch, and we'll do a brief summary about what it is and like why the other person should watch it. The other person will ask 3 questions, and at the end of those 3 questions, we'll determine whether or not the pitcher has successfully pitched the movie or show to the other person, and they will be adding it to their list. We've had some pretty successful pitches going back and forth in the last 2 episodes. We'll see if we can maintain that streak today. And from what I understand, as far as the rules of engagement go, the way we determine who goes first is you just assert that you're going first. So I'm going to go first. No questions asked. All right, Nick. So today
Go
I will
right
be
ahead.
pitching you. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but Rebel Ridge. So as I mentioned before, Aaron Pierre was up for the Jon Stewart character in Lanterns, and we were talking about that in our last episode. And I heard that he was getting a lot of buzz from this movie, so I was like, you know what? Like, I'm interested in Lanterns. This kid is, got a career ahead of him. I kind of want to check it out. So I put it on one day. It was about 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't know why I did that. I think I was folding laundry, and I was like, I'll tune in for like half an hour or something. I watched the whole movie that night. It was a weekday, by the way. It wasn't a weekend. I had stuff to do the next day, and I didn't care. This movie, Nick, is so engaging from like the first 10 seconds all the way to the end, where like I couldn't stop watching. I needed to know what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. It was legitimately one of those movies where it was like, I have no idea what's going to happen next. So it's an action movie, and it's one of the smartest action movies I've ever had the pleasure of seeing. It's a great time. It is about a man who is riding into a Louisiana town on his bike, and he's going to post bail for his cousin, who was arrested for a crime. And he runs into some cops, and he experiences civil forfeiture, in which the cops, under a reason of suspect, are able to take his money legally, and then the movie unfolds from there. I honestly don't want to say too much after that, because it's not like there's a bunch of like twists here and there, but you just don't know where it's going, especially because like the movie plays so well into the very real rules of how law enforcement works and how law enforcement can potentially, and unfortunately, probably in some very small towns, use the law to their advantage against anybody else, right? In very legal and hateful ways. And we just get to watch a guy kick ass in very believable ways. It's not like a crazy action movie where he's just doing all these insane stunts. Like, everything he does is extremely believable. It's one of the more realistic action movies I've ever seen. It's awesome. That's my movie, Rebel Ridge.
I really wanted to just immediately hate whatever you're about to pitch me, but you did a good job, and I'm very intrigued. So I'm wondering, how long is this film? And where can I watch it?
Okay. Thank you for asking that part. The second part. I always forget to mention where you can watch these things. Netflix. It is a Netflix movie. As far as how long it is, so this is surprising. It's 2 hours, right?
Mm.
And honestly, watching it in the first 40 minutes, the initial problem kind of gets resolved, right? And you're like, where can this possibly go from this point? And it goes to insane places. But again, all like within the realms of reality. Like you're watching this and you're like, I can see how you get to this point. It's just crazy how we keep finding a way to push this premise further and further.
Interesting. All right. I'm trying to think of something else to ask you based on your quick summary there. Aside from Pierre, is there another standout performance or actor that really gets you excited about this?
Yeah, there is. I have to look up his name. He's a well-known actor. He's probably the most well-known actor in this movie. He's an older guy. What is this guy's name? Don Johnson. Don Johnson.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes, one of those guys who's been in a lot of everything, right? More recently, I've discovered him on the very trashy but sexy television show Dr. Odyssey. That is a guilty pleasure that has nothing to do with this right now, but damn, is it fun to watch.
I'm hanging out.
Don Johnson plays the police chief and ultimately like the villain of this. And he's great. He's a great, very believable villain. And he represents a lot of like Southern like racist undertones, and like the racism is there, right? But I wouldn't say it ever like beats you over the head with it. He's not like Looney Tune-ish racist, right? Like he's not like dropping N-bombs. Like he's like racist in like, oh damn it, like you've met this guy before. You know, like he's racist in an unfortunate, very real way, you know?
Got it. Oh, all right. It's a hell of a pitch, Joe. It's a hell of a pitch. I don't have another question. I kind of asked you two at the beginning, back to back. So,
the streaming service, I feel like that needs to actually just be stated without a question provided.
Yeah, sure. But did you enjoy the ending of the film?
That's a great question. I love the ending of the film. It's such a strange choice. Like it works, right? The ending works really, really well. However, it's so abrupt. Like the movie just decides this is it. It's done. Like we just stop. Like
I swear it's a
like
Netflix
yeah,
thing.
like the climax happens, and then, like as soon as the climax is over, the movie's like, and that's it. And like you think about it for a second, you're like, wow, that was a weird place to end it. But then you really think about it, and you're like, no, anything else would just be kind of like would just be overstating its welcome at this point. You kind of know exactly what's going to happen after this, and like that's the beauty of the movie. You don't know what's going to happen, right, throughout the entire film, and then finally you get to the ending, and you know exactly what's going to happen next, and that's when the movie decides it's going to end. It doesn't overstate its welcome. It's like as soon as you can't guess anymore, it's like, yep, movie's done. I actually really appreciate that about an action film. It's just like, we're done. No more action.
All right, Joe. I think you did it. I think I'm going to add it to my list. The list is too long. I'm going to have to start saying no eventually to you because
hey, but it's the first non-animated show I've given you.
It is. I can't possibly say no to the first non-animated show that you're giving me. So that also is playing in your favor. It's not animated, thank God. Putting it on my list. Well done, sir.
I will say one more thing, Nick. If there is another reason that anyone should be watching this movie, if you're not familiar with Aaron Pierre, fantastic actor. I am so excited to see this man's career blow up. And also, wow, what a smoke show. My goodness. Just putting that out there. That man is beautiful. You just want eye candy on your television for about 2 hours. Just put on Rebel Ridge. My goodness. I had to question some things. Oof.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, we're gonna move on.
You insist. Oh.
Joe's all hot and bothered over here. So ridiculous. You're
Just get lost
ridiculous.
in those eyes.
You're ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, go tell your future wife that you have.
Oh, I did. I did. I did. I was like, yo, you got to look at this guy. He's so beautiful.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right. Something else to look forward to, some would say. All right, Joe. It's my turn to pitch you a movie.
All right.
To add to your list. I'm going to ask you a couple quick fire questions.
Interesting. We're going reverse.
Would you watch a movie with Mark Wahlberg in it?
Yeah, I'd watch a movie with
Would you watch
Wahlberg.
a movie with Halle Berry in it?
Of course I'd watch a movie with Halle
Would you
Berry.
watch a film with J.K. Simmons in it?
I love J.K. Simmons. You just started with him. Yes, of course I would.
Well, then, Joe, you're going to absolutely love this 2024 Netflix action comedy romantic film called The Union. You're going to love it. And by
We're
love
going
it,
back to back on action films. Okay,
we are.
let's go.
We are. We're going back to back on Netflix action films.
There was a theme to this podcast. I didn't even know it. Okay, let's go.
Listen. Here's a quick breakdown.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg plays a guy named Mike, who is a down-to-earth construction worker who is thrust into a world of super spies and secret agents when his high school sweetheart, Roxanne, played by Halle Berry, recruits him on a high-stakes U.S. intelligence mission. This is basically like you having a high school sweetheart who you have not talked to in 20 years. You're just a regular dude, just like we're just regular dudes. And all of a sudden, she just comes back into your life. But oh, wait, she's a secret spy. And then she kidnaps you against your will and takes you all the way to London. This is that movie. This is what happens, basically. And now,
That movie. Yeah,
you have
we've
to
all
just,
seen it.
you just become a secret spy overnight. And it's hilarious and fun. And it's an hour and 45 minutes. Basically, no time commitment.
Quick. Huh?
Now, let me be very clear. This is not a award-winning film. This is not the movie that you put on if you want to be wowed by the cinematography or wowed by even the acting or wowed by the plot. This is the movie you put on when you want to watch something that's under 2 hours, that's a little bit fun, that, you know what, if you pick up your phone for 5 minutes, it's not going to make or break what's going on in the movie. You're not going to lose track. Okay? This is not a Christopher Nolan film, clearly.
You're losing me. You're losing me.
No, I'm not losing you because everyone needs this film on their list. This is the kind of film you need on your list because you don't always
Damn,
want to
the
sit down.
confidence.
You don't always want to sit down and watch a 2 or 3 hour epic.
It's true.
You don't always want to do that. And you don't want to put a TV show on it necessarily because that's more of a commitment of like a long-standing TV show. You're going to go through a whole series. This is just hour and 45 minutes of fun. It's got Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg and J.K. Simmons and some others, and it's just enjoyable. It's an enjoyable film. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
What are your questions? Hit me with them.
So first off, let me just say, I kind of love when someone can give me something like a little bit mindless sometimes.
Exactly what it
because
is.
like, dude, we all love souffle, all right? Like it's there. You can appreciate a souffle, right? But I don't always want souffle. I want chips a lot, most of the time. Actually, I want to eat chips always. So like, if you offer me a bag of chips I've never had before, like I'm probably gonna stick my hand into it and take a bite. So here we go. Here's the hand going in. Okay. You mentioned J.K. Simmons before, and of those three, he's my favorite. So tell me about his character.
J.K. Simmons plays the essentially the head of the secret intelligence agency. Yeah, that's like his main role, and it's like it's a J.K. Simmons part. Like it's J.K. Simmons. You know what I mean? Like he's got a very specific. Not specific necessarily because he has played some like different roles there in the past, but this is one of those films where J.K. Simmons is on display. That's what I'll say.
Kind of sounds like if I'm thinking like of his time in like Law and Order or like on The Closer, like he plays like I think he's a police chief on The Closer. It kind of sounds like that. Okay, so I'll be honest. That makes sense for J.K. Simmons. I was kind of hoping you were going to tell me he was the villain. So, second question: who's the antagonist, and like, what's their deal?
So there's a couple of different antagonists. The main antagonist is played by Mike Coulter. He's in Jessica Jones.
I love Jessica Jones.
Luke Cage. He plays Luke Cage.
Oh, right on.
The guy who plays
Okay.
Luke Cage. So he's like the main antagonist. But you don't necessarily see. I'm going to slightly ruin the film. But you don't. He plays an antagonist at one part of the film, but most of the time, we're not entirely sure who the antagonist is as well, because essentially the secret agency that Mark Wahlberg's character gets recruited for, their whole network of spies has been like stolen. Like their database of who all their spies are across the world has been stolen, and they have to figure out how to get it back. So they try to buy it back from the party that stole it, which we're not entirely sure of most of the film. So you're essentially just like, but then there's other agencies who are trying to also get this information. So it's kind of a, and this is one of the reasons why it's not a, Oscar-winning film. Because the answer to your question is not straightforward. But yes, but Mike Coulter is one of the antagonists.
Okay. I actually, my third question here, this is tough because like I'm stuck between one of two questions. Because I either want to ask you, what hooked you on this movie? Or, and I think this is where I'm going to lean into actually, what was the most like ridiculous scene of the movie? And by that I mean like what was like the action scene that you saw that you were either like, holy crap, that was cool, or you just laughed because of like how ridiculous the action was in the moment.
Okay, so I don't have one actually like right off the top of my head from an action sequence perspective, because it's kind of just ridiculous in general, because it's Mark Wahlberg, just his character is a construction worker and now he has to train to be a spy. So there's like a little training montage that's a little bit like ridiculous, right? Where he's kind of getting his ass kicked, and then of course like he gets a little bit better. But the scene that actually like got me hooked was actually the trailer that Netflix will automatically play if you're like hovered over the film. And it's earlier in the movie when he's talking to Roxanne, or Halle Berry's character. And then all of a sudden, like, Halle Berry just like drugs him.
Something like that.
And he rolls down a hill. And then they bag him up. Basically, this is how they kidnap him and bring him to London early in the film. And I was like, wait, what the hell just happened? Like why is Halle Berry like drugging Mark Wahlberg, and then this guy's just like rolling down a hill like completely knocked out, and then literally wakes up in London? It's just like, okay, that's totally ridiculous. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. So that's kind of what got me. The little Netflix got me with their stupid little trailer thing that automatically plays.
I'll be honest with you here.
Put it on the mindless list. Put it on the mindless list. Do it.
I like that. So we talked about this earlier. I like that we have separate lists for all of this. Nick has his animated list, and I guess now he has his action movie list that I pitched. All right. So here's the thing. So far, I think I'm only like half interested in the plot, if I'm being totally honest. I'm only about half interested. Like, it does kind of sound like it'd be a great like thing to put on while I'm doing laundry.
Yeah.
Right.
And it won't keep you awake. You can go to sleep and finish it tomorrow.
Oh, weird benefit to the movie. However, Nick, here's the thing. So you mentioned Mark Wahlberg, right? And I've enjoyed some Mark Wahlberg movies. I think he can be either real hit or miss for me. And not necessarily his performance. I think he just chooses like some projects that he should just never choose. The Happening comes to mind. Halle Berry, I almost always enjoy Halle Berry. But here's the thing. You pitched me a movie with J.K. Simmons, which, like, again, for the second week in a row, that's so unfair that you said something without actually pitching the movie to me that I would automatically add it to my list, right? So I'm really kind of torn here because like if I'm being honest, like I'm like, oh yeah, okay, the plot sounds like it's a little forgettable, but I love me some J.K. Simmons, man. I do. I always love him.
It's my saving grace here. It's my saving grace.
It is your saving grace here. It is. So I will add it to my list for the hope that the action and the premise alone is ridiculous enough to pull me through. I'm putting it on my list.
Such a bad choice. You should have done that.
Were you actively trying to not get it on?
No, I mean, I'm trying to pitch it to you, but like, you know, it's exactly what I advertised it as, you know? It's exactly what I advertised it as. So
I mean, like,
good luck. Listen, I had to watch this film, so everyone has to watch this film. Okay,
so this was a revenge play, son of a bitch. You played me. Here's the thing: so the Chicago. This is going to date this podcast a little bit, but the Chicago Bears are playing today, and I need something stupid and mindless to watch after that game is going.
Oh, this
on.
is it. This will make you happy. This will make you happy. Yeah.
And like I know that I am committing myself to something in which I have said like I love J.K. Simmons. I'll watch anything with him in it. And from what you're saying, it sounds like J.K. Simmons isn't even like that big of a part of the film.
He's got a decent role. He's got a decent role. Yeah.
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 Okay, that actually makes me feel a little bit better about this. I am putting it on my list, but I am actually going to use this as a standard from now on of when I am not feeling super sure about what you're pitching me. So if I enjoy this, that's going to be great for 50-50 movies moving forward. Oh boy, is it going to work against you if it's not though.
All right. I love it. I love it.
Well, that will do it for us on put it on your list. Hopefully we put one of these, if not both of these movies on your list. Or if you've seen both of them. Either way, let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you whether or not they sound great or you've seen them and they are great or they're awful. Like, I especially want to know before I watch this movie if you think Nick's movie is awful. Please let me know if I have made a mistake. But yeah, that'll do it for us today. As far as next time goes, once again, Nick, we failed to talk about it before the cast, so we're going to figure it out right now. Are we doing time travel next time?
No, we're not. We're doing the halfway of the Penguin.
Yay! Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Quick review of The Penguin. It's great. Go watch it.
Yeah, do it. Watch that. Yeah, we're gonna do next week. We're gonna do halfway thoughts on The Penguin. I think is gonna be the best option.
If you want to talk to us sooner rather than later about The Penguin or about Agatha, which we are definitely going to review once that series has concluded, Nick, where can the people do that?
You can find us on Threads, where we're just sharing our thoughts there daily. We're also, of course, hit subscribe on YouTube here, and you can find us on Instagram as well. And until next time,
may the review be with you.
peace.